From CBS News, it's The Early Show.
Men and women of each generation are remembered for how they changed society. Yeah. Baby boomers had free love and civil rights. Generation X brought the age of irony and the dot-com bubble.
Well, as for today's young adults, if you don't know their defining characteristic, just Google it. That's what they would do. Because the online world is incredibly important to them, as contributor Taryn Winter-Brill reports.
Millennials, also known as Generation Y. They're the teens to late 20-somethings who rely on technology more than any generation before them. 55% of millennials claim they couldn't live without it.
I think I'd rather go with internet than have heat, I think.
Really?
A warm coat and internet access is great.
Only 25% of American teenagers held summer jobs this year, the lowest percentage ever recorded. And according to U.S. Census data, the number of young adults living with their parents is up nearly 5% since 2005. Even though the statistics are gloomy, this generation's tech cloud does have a silver lining.
So much to talk about here. Joining us now is the man known as the Gen Y guy, Jason Dorsey. He's the author of Why Size Your Business. Good to have you with us again here, Jason. Good to talk to you.
Thanks for having me back.
Okay, so millennials.
Let's understand this.
No offense.
Wait, I'm not a millennial.
I'm just kidding.
Unfortunately,
okay.
I kind of wish I was.
They're not lazy, but they sure do seem demanding. I want to talk about a recent Cisco study and throw some numbers here on the board. 56% of current college students will not accept a job from a company that bans social media. 60% think they have the right to work remotely with a flexible schedule.
I like that.
And 1 of 3 students prioritize social media freedom and device flexibility over salary. As someone who deals with these Generation Y people all the time, when you see these numbers, do you want to just kind of say, hey, come on, let's get real?
A little bit.
I know their parents feel that way. Yeah, well, this is what's interesting. When we interview them, they would rather be unemployed than take a job that they think is beneath them.
Great.
And this is a shock. I mean, 20 years ago, if mom or dad said, you go get a job, you got a job. Yeah. And we're like, I can't look today. It's Friday. I mean, it's just a totally different mindset. And to use technology as a reason not to get a job is just another manifestation of this.
Yeah, or to turn down a job. I mean, so what are businesses doing about this? Are they saying, well, forget about it. We don't need you anyways?
It's mixed. It depends the talent that they're looking for. If it's, say, high tech, if it's engineering, there's a real workforce shortage right now that's overlooked in all these unemployment numbers. We have the highest number of job postings in 3 years since before the recession. And these highly skilled industries are really looking for millennials and Gen Y. And so they're saying, we'll give you the smartphone, we'll let you work from home, bring your mom. It's fine. It means you'll be here on time. And so they are going out and recruiting differently. They're incentivizing differently. They're making more level organizations, and they're giving these millennials a chance to make a difference from day one. And that is what we really want. More than title, more than money.
But not to be confused, these Gen Yers are not lazy people. They just have a different mentality, right? They are highly skilled.
Well, some of them are lazy.
All right.
Let's not go overboard.
I'm trying to help
They sound lazy.
I mean, I have a lot of friends that haven't woken up yet. I mean, don't get me wrong. They're not looking for a job.
It is 8:45.
But they do have a different work preference. And what that means, like yesterday I spoke to all these CEOs, and they said, Jason, your generation's great. They don't show up on time, but they stay late. At 2 a.m. they're sending emails. They're doing things on weekends.
They are working.
Yeah, we just work differently, and that is the rub. Because people want us to work in the way in which they work. And that doesn't fit this generation.
But do a lot of companies say, look, we're not willing to warm up to these trends? And does that hurt a lot of kids that are trying to get jobs?
It does. It does. In fact, if I were to coach Gen Y or millennials, it would be to lower your expectations, get a job now. Because we know if you stay unemployed after high school or college graduation for a year, 2, 3 years, it's much harder to enter the workforce. Yeah. You've got to take the jobs you can get now and get the experience, build your network, do these things that give you more options rather than saying, well, I got to hold out. I'm 28. I need to be a manager first. Yeah. Never worked anywhere, but I got to be in management.
Yeah, and you have to take into account, too, at some point, mom and dad are going to kick you out of the house, so you need to get a job.
You would think that, but it's not happening. That's what's so amazing. When we interview parents and ask them, when are you going to get your kids to leave? We just did this on my Facebook page. The average response was the age 30.
Well, maybe that's part of the problem. Parents, get them out of the house.
You know what? If my parents could have got me out of the house at 16, I would have been out of the house.
Well, that's a whole different story.
I remember that line at college. Christian, don't even think about coming home. Great to see you.
Thanks for having me.
Jason, good to have you with us.
Thank you.
All right.